Hi, friends. I'm coming to you today with a bite-sized bish because Amanda and West released a joint statement confirming, weirdly, that they are together. So I wanted to jump on and do a quick bite-sized bish today. There's a new M&M hour, which I hope people are enjoying, but this news came about today and I just have a lot of thoughts and I'm trying to process it. I know everyone is too. So I thought, let me do a bite-sized bish, talk a little bit about what's going on and just kind of validate everyone's collective outrage because we all should be pissed. This is ridiculous. So let me read you. First of all, West and Amanda released a joint statement. I'm like, ugh, barf. So I'll read it to you now if you haven't seen it online. We've seen the growing online speculation, so while this is still very new, we wanted to provide some clarity. It was never our intention to purposely hide anything. Given the complicated relationship dynamics involved and the scrutiny that comes with being on a reality TV show, we needed a little space to process things privately before speaking on it. It goes on to say, we've shown up for each other as friends over the years through all the highs and lows, and what's developed recently was the last thing either of us expected. Our connection grew out of a genuine, long-standing friendship, which made it especially important for us to approach this with care. As our feelings evolved, we wanted to take time to understand exactly what we were feeling. We also recognized that this has had an impact beyond just us and never wanted our actions to cause any hurt or be perceived as careless. We truly appreciate the understanding and respect as we navigate this. Okay, woof. First of all, that's a lot of words to not say a lot of things. Second of all, I feel like not acknowledging Sierra or Kyle at all is insane. Third, as humans, we are all imperfect, right? I talk about this on the podcast all the time. This is why it's not good to idealize and devalue these people we watch on TV, because I'm going to use an example. So West, he was like idealized, right? And then he was with Sierra and then he royally fucked that up. He completely broke her heart, screwed her over, and then had a tough season. By the way, at the reunion, he had nothing to say. And I promise you, West better come correct at this reunion. I am going to be watching this reunion with like a magnifying glass. And I don't want to see any of that, aw, shucks, I got nothing to say energy. Because if you both can do things like this, we need an explanation. But back to what I was saying is that, and then this season, West, people have been putting him back on a pedestal. And it's like, when we look really at what's going on here, it's to me less about West and it's more about Amanda. West he's going to do what a fuckboy's going to do, right? If I'm being honest. But Amanda, Amanda should know better than that. And for people who don't understand why this is a big deal and why Bravo fans are freaking out about this is because for those of us who watch Summer House, you know that Sierra is extremely guarded. She had a tough upbringing. She protects her heart with armor and she doesn't love easily or often, but she loved West and she loved Amanda. And I am very upset for her. I believe that her heart is probably broken and she deserves better than this. And while it's like people are like, it's good that West is moving on so that Sierra can move on too. And it's like, no, I don't like that either because I feel like West came on this show and just like destroyed something good. And then Amanda is now just complicit in it. Because so back to what I was saying, and again, I'm kind of all over the place here. I'm literally doing this podcast just like I went to therapy today. I had some doctor's appointments, and then I was like, I need to talk about this. So it might be a little rambly. Bear with me, y'all. But I just feel like if you're upset about this, you should be, and I'm going to tell you why. Parasocial relationships are very real. I'm going to tell you how I feel. I was beginning to feel like every show that I'm watching is gross. Bad behavior, abusive behavior, I'm like, it makes me question, what is it that I'm doing here? And then I talked about a couple weeks ago on my podcast that I feel Summer House is like the sunshine, right? It's like the lightness. It's proof that reality TV can still be fun and ethical. Well, this just took the wind right out of my sails. And I feel like West and Amanda have made choices that will have ripple effects that will impact all of us. So as parasocial relationships, number one, we're all disappointed in Amanda because we thought she was better than that. We were rooting for you. We were all rooting for you. We thought Amanda would never do this to Sierra, and we all have every right to be upset. I feel disappointed. I feel fooled. I feel duped. Now, here's one thing I will say is today is March 31st. If this is all an elaborate April Fool's prank, I will be relieved, but also still irritated. Because the thing is that Bravo fans were really invested in this, and these parasocial relationships are real to us. And so when we are played with like this, I just don't like that. So to be honest, if it's a joke, I would be relieved, but I would still be frustrated. But sadly, I don't think this is a joke. Sierra has unfollowed West. She has unfollowed Amanda. Again, this could all be part of an elaborate prank, but I don't think that it is. So if you're upset, if you're disappointed, if you're angry, you're not alone. That's how I feel too. I think a lot of us are feeling that way. Sierra, the one thing for me is protecting Sierra's heart because she is just such a wonderful soul. She is such a good friend and such a good girlfriend. And for Amanda to turn around and do something that she knew would be like stabbing her in the heart, I just can't believe that she did. But as Mandy and I talked about on the M&M Hour release today, we talked about this before the statement was released. And now that the statement is released, what I go back to is Mandy and I talking about how I think Amanda, after being with a king baby for a decade, was intoxicated by West's whatever he's got going. Because West has slept with, I don't know, tons of Bravo Labs. People have talked about it. Sally Carson has talked about it. There's lots of people. He's just like all up in everybody's business, literally and figuratively. But he doesn't want to commit. So here's what I'm confused about. So Amanda's going to do this to her friend Sierra for West. Like, good luck with that. I hope y'all really like each other. I hope this was really worth it because the dynamic of the summer house is now going to be changed forever. And that's what I feel angry about. I feel angry that summer house was my happy place. It was my, okay, this is great reality TV, still drama, but like still loving, ethical, appropriate. All these people treat each other with respect and dignity. And now, wah wah, not so much. So I'm pissed, y'all. I am pissed. And if you are too, you are 100% not alone. I want to see the reunion where this is addressed, where this is discussed. I mean, because they haven't taped the reunion yet. So I want to know how this is going to be addressed. And then to me, like this season, which by the way, Summer House is on tonight. And I'm just like, oh my God, I don't know if I can do it. My brains are scrambled eggs. But so now it's like, we're going to see West and Sierra have these like conversations about missing each other. No, I don't understand West's behavior this season. It's like people online were going like really deep diving into signs and signals and looking back and all that stuff. And I don't do that because I just think it's invasive, it's obsessive. It's just not what I do. And so I was waiting until something was confirmed and well, here we are. But it reminds me of something that Mia said, maybe it was last week or the week before. She was basically like, West is a great guy if you're not falling in love with him. And if Amanda thinks that West is going to treat her differently than he treated Sierra, good luck, honey bunny. I don't think this is going to have a different ending. But what I was saying is, and I know I'm going back and forth, is I just think that probably Amanda felt whatever intoxicating love spell West puts over these people, because I'll be honest, I don't talk about my husband a lot because he's very private and he prefers that I don't. But I was watching Summer House and he was like finishing his stuff. He asked West was there and he goes, "Who's that?" I forget what he said, but basically he was like, "Who's that guy?" And I was like explaining this is West and all these girls are into him. And my husband was like, "Him? Women are into that guy?" And I was like, "Bro, this is why I love you. This is why you're my person." And so I guess what I'm saying is that I think West's fame and his personality and his charm and his all of that, it's like it draws people in. But then what I don't think people realize is that once he draws them in, then he's scared and he doesn't want it. So I'm going to be very interested to see A, how this plays out, B, to hear more information, C, to at the reunion, see what Andy has to say about this, what they all have to say about this. I also for sure want to know if this is a April Fool's prank, but I guess we'll find out tomorrow. I mean, I can't imagine that it is. Part of me is hoping, but I'm just like, oh God, I don't think so. And yeah, I think from what I'm understanding, like, by the way, I did DM KJ. He did not DM me back. I think the Summer House cast is keeping it close to the vest and they're talking to each other about it, but they're trying not to get messy, which I understand and I get that. But I just feel like we were rooting for them. We were rooting for the Summer House cast, and now it's gross and I don't like it. And it makes me think of Amanda differently and Wes differently. So, in case it's not clear, I am Team Sierra for life. She is a queen who doesn't deserve this. And here's the last thing I'm going to say about this is that Sierra talked about being a woman of color and feeling like she is being played on national television by a white man. And not only now is she being played by a white man, she's also being played by her white female best friend. And I just feel that her heart is probably broken, which I feel very protective of that. I feel very upset. I am angry that people keep doing Sierra so dirty because she is the last person on planet Earth who deserves that. And Amanda herself talked about she wouldn't have gotten through this season without Sierra. And it's like, and this is how you treat your friend? This is the kind of loyalty that you give her. It's certainly not Scandival. It's certainly not that. These are two different things, but it has flavors of that because it involves someone we all adore being like, people were lying to us. Let me be clear about that. People were lying to us. Amanda was going on podcasts saying, no, I would never touch anyone in the house. Best went on Watch What Happens Live. And he's like, no, I just got to show her the city, blah, blah, blah. To they lied to Andy, they lied to podcasters, they lied to everybody instead of just maybe being honest or having some sort of prepared statement beforehand. It just feels very icky. It feels very underhanded. It feels very yuck. So I guess I'm going to watch Summer House tonight and post interpretations tomorrow on my social media at Your Bish Therapist. But to be honest, here's what I'm going to recommend. If this is frustrating for you, which it is for me, and it's okay if it is frustrating for you, take a beat. Don't engage. Don't watch Summer House. Stay off of social media. I think that our mental health is more important than what's going on in the Bravoverse. And I know for me, especially, I am guilty of, because being a content creator, I want to make sure like I'm interacting with people and I'm getting this information out. But for me, it's a lot too, especially when I'm managing things in my personal life. So I just think today we are all so frustrated about this whole situation. I think we need to collectively take some breaths. We need to go outside, get the sun on our face, touch some grass, and just kind of decompress because this is a lot. These are my immediate thoughts. I will talk about this more on the podcast with Lindsay and Brady from Recap Rodeo. We're going to record this weekend. That'll come out next week. And the bad news I have for you all is that, yeah, girl, on Saturday, I'm going to be 45, but unfortunately, one of my teeth died and didn't make it to 45. I have a tooth, my back tooth, from jaw dystonia, from clenching and grinding and all of that. It died. She died, girl. My tooth died. So I am going to have to take a week off of the podcast because I'm having oral surgery and my mouth is going to be painful. However, there will be one more podcast before I take a week break. And then don't worry, I will be coming back right after that. And Lindsay, Brady, and I will be talking about this specifically because Lindsay is just as upset. Brady doesn't watch Summer House. And so we're trying to explain to him why this is such a big deal. So stay tuned for that. We will continue to talk about it. For today, I'm just going to say, take care of yourself, do the things that you got to do. And I think we all have to remember that while we're collectively frustrated, parasocial relationships are real. We get it. It makes sense. We ultimately have to take care of our mental health. So please do that today because I know that I need to. So thank you for listening to this Bite-Size Bish. Thank you for listening to the rambling. Thank you for all your support and to be continued. So ta-ta for now.